Okay, so we are back with entrepreneur, founder, and owner of Munger's Marrow, Maurice Jenkins. And Maurice, I wanted you to weigh in a couple of topics because I know we want you to stick around on here because, we want entrepreneurs to understand the difference and what we're dealing with here because folks should be mindful of what's happening in the future. For example, Dana Chanel, between around 2020 and 2021, spoke out on scamming business owners and had been sued by Pennsylvania State Attorney General Josh Shapiro. Here's what she said about it alongside with her husband, Prince Donald. Take a look.
We first want to thank you so much for your patience. I'm afraid our silence has come off as some type of admission of guilt, when it has always been our desire to be an example to Black business owners on how to deal with business discrepancies with professionalism and diplomacy.
We are currently dealing with the civil lawsuit and deny any and all claims that have been made. We have the best legal team in the country fighting to defend us. But please know that we take all consumer matters very seriously. And to all of our supporters and customers, I'm asking that you stand at this time, acknowledge and vouch for the fact that we have positively impacted your lives. And also have confidence in the fact that you can patronize our businesses and receive quality service.
With that being said, we also wanted to bring forth another solution to our community, the Black Business Review Board. We are actively vetting professional men and women to not just fight for the entrepreneur, but fight for the consumer so that we can create a safe place for commerce. So we can internally ensure that we're offering resources for the best business practices. Now let's get back to creating freedom, security, and financial stability for our community.
Now, Dana Chanel has publicly denied all the slew of scamming allegations shared on an Instagram account dedicated to her exposure of alleged scams here. So, what lessons should this woman needs here? Because obviously, we're still dealing with a lot of people scamming other folks in some ways here, and it's really just ridiculous. Like, what do you have to say on that, Maurice?
I don't know the details of that case per se, but I mean, what I say just from my personal practice is that you have to set a standard for how you're going to treat your customers, and you have to adhere to that standard, whatever that standard is. With me, if there's ever an issue, my customers can reach out to me directly. The biggest problem I'll have sometimes is, let's say if I'm shipping something to a customer out in Vegas or something like that, then there'll be an issue with the jar. It will get, as much as I try to insulate these jars, because you see that glass, as much as I try to insulate them and protect them, sometimes they'll break in transit. The customer lets me know, I replace it immediately, no additional charge or anything like that, and it's settled. But if there's a remedy for a mistake that's made, be it by you or someone in the process, in a transition of your product getting from you to your customer, just fix it.
I hate to tell you, but there is no fixing this. Between the two of them, they have 3 companies that are stealing money from people. The husband tried to take $4,500.
Yeah. Well, why would they do something like that? Like, what?
$4,500
out of a bank. Ooh, one of the consumers. She has two consumers that allege $1,800 and $1,600 that she tried to take away from them.
Wow.
It's a mess.
Yeah, it is a mess, and I don't understand why would some people do that, especially because not just recently, I made a tweet here about when it comes to doing business. Allow me to share this with you because I'm like, what is the and I'm pretty sure Jesse related to this as well, where like, what is the purpose of you saying DM me when most of you don't even look at your messages, or you look at them but don't respond back at all when they follow up? Like, that's just unprofessional and rude and disrespectful. Like they're not using their common sense at first here, you know. And it's just plain ridiculous. Who wants to do business with someone both professionally and personally when you don't even read or respond back to your messages sent by one or more individuals or groups? I mean, anyone want to respond to that? Because this has been really an issue that's been going on not for a while, but for like I'd say years within our own generations here. You know, I mean,
are you, like, what is the question that you're asking? Like,
basically, why are people just doing that? Like, why are they saying DM me for when it's a business person in person? Sending them a DM, but they don't respond back after like a week or two later here.
I just think because they can. And I mean, I don't know if there's any like.
But do you find
motives
it's
behind
unprofessional? That's the question. Another question.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's unprofessional. I don't understand the reasoning that they're just doing it.
Well,
I would say that it's unprofessional if they are having a conversation and is leading up to something and they don't follow through, then I would say that is unprofessional. But I wouldn't say like if I was a celebrity and I was like, oh, DM me, like I don't see that as unprofessional.
Yeah, but when that person says they say DM me and they DM you, you don't hear back from them at all after a certain amount of time, basically.
I think it depends on their interest. Like Georgetta says, sometimes like they'll say, DM me and we'll talk, or like let's do business. Like I have many times that I'll go to an event and then, you know, we'll cross paths and they'll say, oh yeah, let's do business, let's work, and I kind of understand like with your frustrations. And then the next thing you know, I think the expectation. I think when you try, as you get older, not to have the expectation of someone saying that they're gonna do something when they're not gonna do it, your gut will tell you. And that happens a lot when you go into Los Angeles too. When you go to LA, there's a lot of people who are gonna say, yeah, we'll work, and then you never hear from them. But in New York, it's very hit or miss. You know, it depends on the person. So I would say don't go with expectations, you know, with people, because sometimes you will know, your energy will tell you.
Yeah, Maurice, what do you have to say about this, even on the business level? Because obviously it is still happening in today's generation. Like, what do you think that people should do to avoid all the conflicts and all the scams and as all the frauds, like the Kevin O'Leary fraud that was dealt with, where, well, I mean, your response?
You certainly have to ask the right questions, you know, going in to the situation, just to get a proper feel of what that other person's intentions are. I mean, it's kind of like you're dating, you know. Same premise. If you're really trying to get to know that person, or if you're trying to really wanting to do business with that person, you have to ask certain questions, and based on their responses, you know how to proceed going forward.
Are your social media DMs open?
Yes.
Oh, that's good to know.
But that really is the part that really needs to be fixed. Is like, if you're going to DM someone and on a business level, please respond back in a timely manner, because that person is interested in whatever products you're trying to sell, or otherwise they will just never come back to you ever again, or not go to you at all, basically, you know? Because, you know, it's crazy, but you know.
Dana Chanel ghosting them people after stealing their money is a mess.
Oh, that's the worst. I mean, I've had those types of situations. You know, I try to call them, unknown numbers.
Or you try to email.
Right.
And they never respond. And it's very unprofessional when you're trying to sell something and then they're trying to, like you said, steal people's money, and the next thing you know, you don't hear from them. So it's like you need to make sure you get all your ducks in a row before you do business with them, if you feel that they are legit or not.
And do your research.
Yeah, but listen, we'll just have to deal the best we can, but this conversation could go on forever, and Maurice, we wish you could be here longer, but you know,
Thank you,
we gotta
Maurice.
thank you, and thank you for
I
listening.
love the sauces. It's
I'm
still,
so glad everyone
it's still
enjoyed
be in
them.
my butt though with the sauce.
Mango
Our
habanero.
special
let me
thanks
say, I
to
need some
entrepreneur,
steak.
I love it.
founder,
It's really good.
and owner of Muggers Marrow, Maurice Jenkins, for joining us. Check out his website for more details about Muggers Marrow. Here is on the bottom of your screen. You'll see it right there. We'll be right back, y'all.